Good morning. I say morning because it literally just turned 8 o'clock here in Western Pennsylvania in the morning, of course, because it's light out. Today is November 10th. It's a Saturday, and this is episode, I think, 12 of A Lovely Yarn podcast. I'm just going to say this up front. Everything I discuss and all of my contact information as far as my where I'm found on Instagram and all that will be down below the video. So thank you so much for joining me. I have been looking forward to filming another episode, but I haven't been feeling well. I got a cold like 3 weeks ago, which turned into a sinus something. I thought it was a sinus infection, so my doctor put me on an antibiotic, but I'm still having problems, so I'm not really sure what it is. And I don't know, that's how it seems to go with me when I get a cold. It typically progresses into problems with my sinuses. So anyway, you didn't come here to hear that. I am literally drinking my first cup of coffee of the day, so for those of you that are annoyed by drinking while podcasting, like when podcasters drink and podcast, I'm very sorry. I will say that ahead of time. I usually don't do much of anything before I have my first cup of coffee. But I wanted to get this done because my husband is out doing some stuff and my kids are just waking up. So it's quiet and I have some time before we get into the rush of the day. So I thought I'm going to make my coffee, I'm going to sit down and podcast, and I'm going to drink it while I podcast. So I apologize if that annoys anybody. I don't know. I know it does. Some people, other people probably don't care. I personally don't care. I have my favorite morning drink. It's just, we have an espresso machine and my husband roasts our own coffee beans. So every morning I make a double shot and I heat and foam almond milk, and that's what I drink. So usually I add a little bit of syrup, maple syrup, but I haven't been the last couple weeks because whatever's going on with like the inflammation, I don't want to feed it more sugar. Sugar is a really big inflammatory agent, so I've been trying to cut down on. I really don't have sugar anyway, to be completely honest, but even the little bit of maple syrup I usually put in my coffee, I've been abstaining from that. So I actually have gotten quite a bit done. I am typically a monogamous knitter, but I don't know what has happened to me the last month since I podcasted last. Maybe even it started before that, but I have been knitting various projects at the same time, and I pretty much finished them all then within a week's time. It was a sweater, a pair of socks, and a hat. And then when I finished those, I went ahead and I casted on 3 more projects. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to show you those projects. And then I have some really beautiful yarn that I have purchased. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. I have a couple podcasts that I have been enjoying lately. I want to share those with you as well. First, for anybody that might be wondering, this pattern is the Campside Shawl, and I shared this, I don't know, back in the spring, maybe it was, I forget when I finished this, but this pattern is by Alicia Plumer, and it's one of my favorite, and I don't know if it's because of the yarn. I think it's because of the yarn and the pattern. I wear it a lot. Plus it's a neutral color, so it goes with a lot of what I have in my closet. And it's very warm because today we only have we have like a dusting of snow outside, but the wind is whipping around something fierce. So, and we have like frost on our windows and everything. So it's kind of chilly, and I needed something extra warm. All right, let's start with my first finished object. I'm just going to go in order of how I finished them. So the first thing I finished was this hat. It's a cable hat. This is called the Daniel pattern. You guys are going to probably hear my dogs in the background. You might even be able to see this one that's sitting right next to me. And then my bigger dog is over and just making lots of noise outside my bedroom. But anyway, back to the hat. So this is called the Daniel hat. And I finished this 2 weeks ago or a week and a half. And I made it for my husband, but I told him he wasn't allowed to wear it until I podcasted about it. So this was made out of Madeline Tosh vintage in the worn denim colorway. And I mentioned this on Instagram, but I really did not like knitting this pattern. I didn't enjoy it at all. So this is like the big cable over here, but then you've also got these little cables right next to it, this row of little cables. And so, and I forget how many rows were in between that you didn't cable, but you were always doing something. Like I think maybe there was one, it was like an 8 pattern or 8 row. I forget the details, and actually I threw the printed copy away because I thought I'm never going to knit this again because it wasn't enjoyable. There's a lot of stuff going on, so you have to really pay attention. So I kept losing track of where I was. And in fact, when I got to the top of the hat on the decreases, I was working on this. My husband was away for the week, and so I was staying up late at night, which is what I do when he goes away, watching Gilmore Girls and knitting. And so the one night when I was almost finished, I was working on the decrease. I was tired, and I was sick that week as well, so I should have just been in bed. But I got myself all lost in where I was, and I was too tired. I should have just put it down, but instead I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna improvise and just finish this hat tonight, which is what I did. And it's fine. It's definitely not what the pattern said to do, but I figured it out. It looks fine. Nobody's gonna say, oh, she did that wrong, you know. But anyway, it's pretty. It's a pretty hat, but it required too much of my thinking. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that because anyway. Okay, but it is done. It's done, and so now he can wear it because I've podcasted about it. So, like I said, this is the Daniel hat. It is on Ravelry. Okay, and the next finished object is a pair of socks. These are, let me look at the pattern because I forget already. I think it's the Honey Badger. Yes, the Honey Badger socks by Irish Girly Knits. I have the pattern here, and I don't remember, I've had it for so long, I don't remember if it was a free pattern or if I paid for it. But it was a fun pattern. And this was the first time in a really long time that I actually followed the pattern to a T, except I made the leg a little bit longer. I think I did one extra repeat than what the pattern called for. So here are my socks. And, okay. I don't know how much detail this is going to pick up, but this pattern gives a really nice texture. So this is the third time I've used this Lichen Lace Huckleberry yarn on a pair of socks. Yes, the third, maybe the fourth time. It's the fourth time. So I did that. I did the cuff, the heel, and the toes in that. And the main color is Antonella, Cozy Posy Yarn Co. This is her Harvest Moon colorway. I had to think about that because it used to have another name, Chasing Autumn, I think, and then she changed the name of it this year. So this is Harvest Moon. It is beautiful. It's probably not picking up on the camera, but it's got green, orange, purple, some mauve colors, yellow, a little bit of yellow. It's just a really fun, perfectly fall color. So these are done, and now I can wear them. I made these for myself. think it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I've made a pair of socks for myself. I've been making them and thinking I'm going to keep them, and then I've been giving them to people. So I think I'm going to, actually, when I finish these, I thought I'm going to give these to my sister. My one sister, I've never made her socks. I've made her other things, but not socks. But her feet are a little bit bigger than mine, so I had my other sister, who has the same size feet, try them on, and she couldn't. They didn't fit her. So that I was like, okay, I'm going to keep these for myself. So yeah, these, I'll do this pattern again. This was a fun pattern. It was an enjoyable pattern, very easy to remember. And I had started these when Brad and I were in Cuyahoga Falls in Ohio. And it was good for driving in the car and just when we would sit there in the evenings and watch a movie or something on the TV. So those are my honey badger socks. And I'm gonna stop, take a little break, and put on my next finished item because it's a sweater. Okay, so my last finished object is my weekender sweater. This is one that I've had, this pattern I've had for a while, and I don't know why I didn't cast it on earlier, but I love it. It is the perfect comfy sweater. This pattern is by Andrea Mowry, which I'm sure that most people know. And so let me see if, okay, let me tell you a little story about this sweater. So I typically knit smalls whenever in most cases, I knit smalls. So I started this one, and it's a bottom-up sweater. I started this, I got gauge. I think the first time I got gauge, so that was cool. And I started knitting it, and you do the hem, and then you do the body, and you work your way up. Well, I probably got 7 inches, maybe a little bit more into the body. And I thought, this thing looks humongous. And because it's a bottom up, I couldn't try it on. So I got one of my sweatshirts that are, it's like a sweatshirt slash sweater. It's a comfy fit on me. So I laid it out on my bed, and I laid the body that I had finished of the sweater, and it was huge. It was like another half added on to the side of the sweatshirt that I like. So I thought, I am not going to keep knitting this. And I knew it was supposed to be a boxy, oversized sweater. I knew that, but that was just going to look ridiculous on me. Like, there's certain things that I shouldn't wear, and I knew that was going to be one of them. So I ripped it out. And my philosophy with ripping out is, even though I hate to rip stuff out because it's like you're ripping your minutes of your day out, you know, because you spent all that time knitting it. But I also knew that it would be stupid and foolish of me to continue when it was going to be uncomfortably big, and I felt like it was going to look sloppy on me and then not wear it, and that would be a bigger waste of my time. So I ripped it out, and I cast it back on the next day, and I did the extra small, and it gave me the perfect fit. It's just what I wanted. So let me show you. So it has the split hem, and then this really nice seam that goes up because you knit it inside out. You knit the body inside out, and then you turn it, and then you put the sleeves on. So it's knit up, and waste yarn for where you're going to put the sleeves, and then you knit this part and join it together, and then you knit your sleeves. I think I did everything according to the pattern, except I bound off on my sleeves using I think it's called a decrease bind off. But yeah, it's really, it fits me perfectly. I'm really glad that I made a decision to rip it out, because I don't think I would have worn it otherwise. This is knit out of, let me find the skein. This is the second time I've knit a sweater out of this shepherd's wool. My arboreal was also knitted out of this. And this is produced by Stonehenge Fiber Mill in Michigan. and it is this is Petoskey stone, this colorway. It's a worsted spun wool, and it's super soft. I did hear from someone that because it is so soft, it probably will peel, but I'll deal with that. It's not the least bit itchy. I'm not a real sensitive person to wool, but this is this is really comfortable. I feel like my daughter could probably wear this. She's very sensitive to wool. So, but isn't that, I just love the detail. I want to make another one. So I have been looking at some different colors in this shepherd's wool, and then I just discovered Peace Fleece yarn, and it's very affordable, and they have a really nice, it's like a yellow shade. Is it hay bale? I can't remember now what it's called. But I'm not going to do that right now because I have a lot of other things that I want to do. But this is a possibility of knitting another one, and my daughter really wants one as well. So yes, this is finished, and I'm really happy with it. My dogs are starting to be noisy. Okay, so that is all. That's what I finished in the last month. So now I want to tell you guys what I'm working on. Sorry about the rustling. So I'm currently doing a test knit, and I don't think I can really talk about that. So I'm not going to talk about that other than to tell you that that is taking up some of my knitting time, and I'm using my hand spun yarn. I had put out a little call on Instagram, I think 2 weeks ago, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to use my hand spun or if I wanted to use Abundant Earth Fiber, their Joseph and Annie yarn. And I decided to use my hand spun because this is fiber that I got from Carolyn, and I spun it last winter, and I've really been wanting to try it and use it, and so I thought it would be a really good fit for this pattern that I'm testing. So I am doing this. I am making that with this. I hope you can't hear my dogs out here. They're being noisy. Shh. Shh. Okay. So that is one thing that's on my needles. That project. Test project. And then I cast on yesterday, and I actually knit a whole slipper, the Simple House slipper pattern. Temple of Knit is who put the pattern out, and I've made so many of these. Molly, what is wrong? What's wrong, Molly? Why do you gotta whine? My little... Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, now I got two wanting to come up. No, Mitty, you're way too big. Say hi. Ow! Okay. There. You want your mama? Did you want your mama? Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. You feel better? All right. Anyway, those slippers make a wonderful knit for a gift because they are pretty quick. They're quick. They are made out of worsted weight yarn, and everyone I've made them for really likes them. So I have a friend who has had a rough couple of months, and I wanted to make her a pair and send them to her. The problem is, where did that go? So this yarn, I think, is a tad bit bigger than what I usually use. I usually use Knit Picks Andy. Is that what it's called? Worsted? But I feel like it's a really tiny worsted. Like the diameter of it, the weight of it is lighter. So this I didn't want to send something to this friend that couldn't be washed in the washing machine. So I went and looked in my bins of yarn, and I found some Lion brand yarn, this tweedy color. And so this is, I think it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So I made it with this, and I think this is just a tad bit heavier of a worsted. So it came out a little bit bigger than what I was hoping, and I didn't realize it. I kind of was questioning it as I was knitting it, but then once I got to the end, I was like, yeah. And I put them on my feet, and they felt like, I wear a size 8 US, and I thought, I don't know, those might be a little too big for her. So I might have to gift these to somebody else that has bigger feet and make another pair for my friend. And just, if I use this type of worsted weight yarn, I'll just have to like take out a couple rows when I'm knitting in the round. But I have one done, and I casted on the second one last night. So those are the simple house slippers. I highly recommend this. They're so cute. They're just such cute little slippers. And like I said, everyone that I've knitted these for really loves them. Okay, my next the next object I'm working on is the Farmhouse Shawl by Cabin 4 Knits. And this is another favorite knit of mine. The funny thing is, so this is the third time making this shawl, but it's the other two I gave away. So the plan is for me to keep this one. When I made this pattern the very first time, I knew I wanted to make it for my sister. So I did. The second time I made it, I loved hers so much that I bought the same exact yarn, and I made another one. And then I had a friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer and was having a lot of problems, so I just felt like I needed to send that to her. So when I finished it, I sent it to her. So this time, my plan is to keep this for myself, and I am knitting it. Oh, shoot. I left the ball band over there. Okay, hold on 1 second. Because I can't remember the exact name of this yarn. I got this off of Craftsy, and it is Cloudborn fibers. They're Highland worsted. And let me show you what I have so far. I do not have much. It's like a doll size shawl right now because I just started it a couple days ago. This color is Espresso Heather. And I've been wanting a big brown shawl. Actually, when my husband and I were in Carlisle in the spring, we were at a coffee shop, and a woman came in and had on that farmhouse shawl, and I recognized it. And hers was a similar brown color as this, and I just really loved it. So ever since then, I've been wanting to make a brown version. So the only thing I'm questioning is it calls for a size 9 needle, and I did not have any. I had the needles but not the cables because I have an interchangeable set of knitting needles. So I went up to a 10 because I did happen to have a 10, just a regular fixed needle. Good grief, everything's tangled. And the only concern I have is that it's not producing a dense enough fabric, because I was envisioning this as being really heavy and warm. I'm hoping I don't regret doing that, going up a needle size. I just didn't want to buy another knitting needle, you know. And I thought, oh, 9, 10, what big of a difference? And I knitted up a swatch, and the swatch, it was just a small swatch, but I thought, oh, it's fine. But now as I do this, it looks fine, but when I hold it up to like the window, there's a lot of light that comes through. So I'm afraid it's not going to be as dense as I would like it. But this is a really big shawl, and then you put the fringe at the bottom. So I'm sure that will all add warmth and weight to it as well. So I'm just going to keep going on ahead because I don't have another size 9 needle anyway to even be able to change that, unless I would buy another one, and I really don't want to do that. So yes, love this pattern. I love the look of it. It's just such a simple, cozy looking shawl. And I love the name, Farmhouse Shawl. So that's my other work in progress. So what shall we talk about next? I have a stack of yarn here beside me. That coffee's so good. Let's talk about the yarn. Okay, so I have made a few yarn purchases lately. I need to stop because what the problem is you get on Instagram and you see all these beautiful yarn dyers making beautiful yarn, and then your brain goes crazy with creative thoughts and ideas, and so that's my problem. So I think I need to put myself on another yarn freeze, because I did one over the summer, maybe? I did one for a few months. Yeah. See, I said this before, but I don't get haircuts. I don't get my nails done. I don't do anything like a lot of women do. I color my own hair. Yes, I color my hair because I have gray. I got my first gray when I was 30. So, and I was one of those women who thought, I will not color my hair until I absolutely have to. And I was thinking that would be in like my 60s. I'd never colored my hair because I just don't like high maintenance hair or anything like that. And then I got my first gray hair at 30. It was right before we went to Ukraine to adopt Sergey, and I remember thinking, what? I'm only 30. So anyway, I am 39 now, and I have a lot of gray hair. So I dye my hair. But I do that myself at home. Having said all that, the reason I said that is because some women spend money at the salon or getting their nails done, or I don't know what they do. Massages, whatever. I spend my money on yarn. But I need to knit with what I have, and that's why I need to do another yarn freeze. I need to go down into my studio and I need to look at my shelves of yarn, and a lot of it has a purpose, it has a plan. I have patterns picked out for it, but I need to use it and create and stop letting my brain run away with itself with all these ideas and these new projects that come out. But let's talk about the beautiful yarn that I have here beside me. So the first 3 skeins, Cozy Posy Yarn Co. I have bought a lot of yarn off of her. She's one of my favorite indie dyers. This is called Honeycomb. And this is a fingering weight yarn. This is on her Soft and Cozy base, which is an 80-20 blend of merino and nylon. So my original plan was a sweater with this, like a cropped sweater to wear over dresses. And I think I'm probably going to still end up doing that. I have a couple saved in my Ravelry queue that I thought would be good for this. But that is my plan for that. I just love this color. It's so pretty. I actually have this in her singles base along with Barnwood that I ordered last year. So I ordered a skein of I think it's called Barnwood, and a skein of Honeycomb on her singles base to make a shawl. Have I made it yet? No, I haven't. But when I knew that I wanted a cropped, like amber colored cardigan or pullover to wear over my dresses. So because I had that honeycomb colorway already, that was the color I wanted. So she made it for me. She dyed it on her fingering weight base. I'm afraid to knit garments in singles because I'm afraid it's going to peel a lot. I don't know. Do you guys have experience with that? I don't think I've never knit a garment in a singles yarn. Let me know what you think. Okay, so that is Cozy Posy Yarn Co. Antonella. And then I ordered yarn off of a dyer that I never ordered from before. It's Sock Obsession Yarns. And I follow her on Instagram. And I forget. It was this color. So she had a photo of this on Instagram. This is Extra Solar. So this is brighter than what I'm normally drawn to, but I think it was something with these shades of blue and going down into the plum and like the maroon or the burgundy and the orange. I don't know. I was just really drawn to this. And this is her DK weight, 75.25. So I've been wanting to make a pair of DK weight socks, so I think that's what I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to make this into socks. Here's her little tag, Sock Obsession Yarns. Of course, my camera won't zoom or won't focus. So I got that Extra Solar, and then when I was on her website looking at this, of course, I had to look at the other stuff she had. And I found this fingering weight skein that's called Lost in Dublin. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Look how gorgeous. It's not focusing. Yeah, 75.25 merino nylon. Oh my gosh, I love this color. Down here, it's like a salmon color, which I love. And then it goes into like some purples and lavenders and then up into the greens. It's just gorgeous. So, Sock Obsession Yarns. And then my last purchase. No, that's not true. I have 2 more left. I forgot about the one. Okay, so Emma from Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. I've been following her on Instagram for a while, and I love her yarn. She does naturally dyed yarn, and I've always admired it, and I've gotten on her website multiple times, put stuff in my cart, and then not ordered it because she's in the UK, and so I don't know, euros to US dollars, you know, it's always more, and then the shipping and everything, so I've never done it, but I decided that I was going to go ahead, because it's my birthday this month, I was going to go ahead and splurge and buy a couple skeins of her yarn when she did her last update like a week ago. Because, and this is what really made me go for it, she has a natural sock base, so it doesn't have any nylon in it. And I've, just for the heck of it, I've been wanting to make a pair of socks that did not have nylon to see how they would hold up. So I went ahead and bought 2 skeins of her yarn on the natural sock base. And this is 50% BFL, 50% Cheviot. Yes, and this is called Damson. The colorway is Damson, and this is lot number 1. And then I also got another one. This colorway is Turf. It's a very neutral color. And again, it's in the natural sock base. And one thing that I really like about both of these is that the colors are not busy. So I'm going to the Fur pattern by Melody Hoffman, B. Mandarins. It's a pair of socks. I think that would be a perfect pattern for like this turf colorway because I don't know, that's what I envisioned when I bought this yarn, that pattern with this yarn. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this. And it's definitely more rustic feeling. Like I can tell when I feel this, and then of course if I feel like merino and nylon, this is definitely more rustic. So I'm hoping that it will hold up. Just realized that was upside down. And that like I won't get holes in my socks. We'll see. This is going to be an experiment. So yes, I'm very pleased with this. It just came yesterday. Now I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to grab something else because it's in a bag and it's going to be really noisy. So give me 1 minute. Okay. My last yarn purchase was actually a very economical one. And I'm super excited about this because I've been wanting to make this for a long time. I want to make a hap shawl. And I'm making a half version of a hap shawl. And is it Gudrun Johnston maybe that wrote this pattern? Again, it's going to be linked down below the video. So, and I don't even remember the actual name of the pattern, of the hap shawl pattern, but it'll be below. But I want to show you the colors, and I'm going to try to do this. I might have to do. Okay, so this is going to be my main colorway. This is Jamison and Smith. Their jumper weight, 2-ply jumper weight. It's 100% Shetland wool. Each of these little skeins is 125 yards. So I had to get 5 of them to make this shawl. And this is shade 202. It's just a nice off-white neutral color. And then to do all the color around it, like the lace that goes around it, I bought these colors. This one is, okay, they all have shade numbers, so I will just include those down below because they don't have names or anything. But this is like a nice yellow. These two are kind of like a, this is more pink, this one's more coral, and then this is a bluish gray. So all together, this is what the shawl, the colors of the shawl. And this is actually the colors that were done in the sample picture of the pattern. And I really, really like that. I love those colors. So I am going to start this sometime this winter, hopefully sooner than later. I think my plan is to finish the farmhouse shawl and to finish up my test knit because that's due in December, and then I'll probably work on this like over Christmas. Okay, oh, and I ordered this from Fairlight Fibers. This is a yarn company out of Washington State. And I was super pleased. Came super fast. And like I said, I had looked at this particular yarn on various websites, and Fairlight Fibers was the best priced. It was, I think I paid $3 something US for each one of these, which makes this really affordable. All right. So besides that shawl, which I did not print the pattern out so you can't see it, you're gonna have to look it up if you want to see what it looks like. There is one other shawl that I would like to knit, and that is the Night Shift by Andrea Mowry. Dre Renee Knits. Okay. I love this, and why I really want to knit this is because I can use my hand spun. This is what I often do, and I've mentioned this before, is I'll spin my yarn and then it will sit there and I'll look at it and I'll think, oh, what can I do with that, you know? And I have made things with my hand spun, but most of the time it just sits there and I just walk by it and I think, what am I going to make with that? And I think this is going to be perfect. I've seen several hand spun versions of this already, so I'm going to, I have a few more things, a few more bumps of fiber that I want to spin up. So this isn't going to be, I'm not going to be casting on for this, like probably not until January of next year, because I want to spin up that fiber. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I just want to make sure I get my colors right. And Amber of the Yarn Hoarder podcast just podcasted about this shawl because she made it with her hand spun. And she did mention something that was very important, I think. She said, make sure your color A, and I think she said color F. Make sure you really like those colors because they're going to be the main colors in the shawl. So I was glad I heard that because I guess that kind of information isn't really given in the pattern. So she did mention that. So now I'm going to be sure that I really make the A and the F colors, like ones that I really want a lot of in my shawl. Okay, and I keep looking down there a lot because that's where all my stuff is piled up. So the last thing I want to talk about is some podcasts. And Emma of Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. just started a podcast. She only has one episode up, but I really enjoyed it. I think her house has to just be so cozy. I've only seen bits and pieces of it through Instagram, but it just looks so cozy what I've seen of it. And her podcast is so cozy. Like, that is just what I think of when I was watching. I was like, this is just cozy. So check her out. Like I said, she only has one episode up so far. And then Woolly Bean podcast. I also really enjoy that. She has not been podcasting for a real long time either. So I don't know. She maybe has 6 episodes up. But I really like her podcast. It's nice and bright and happy. And the last one I wanted to mention today is Ina Knits. Maybe that's pronounced Ina Knits. Where is she from? Is she from Norway? Oh boy. I just recently found her podcast. In fact, I've only watched 4. I think I've only watched 4. But I really like it. Again, it's another one of those podcasts that just makes me feel cozy and warm and inspired. So those are the 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. If you guys have any that you really enjoy watching, let me know down below in the comments, because I've tried just typing in like knitting podcasts in the search bar, but can be a little bit overwhelming. And I also like suggestions because I like to just hear from other people who have watched them. So if you have any suggestions for podcasts, let me know. I already have quite a few that I have get notifications when they update, but I'll check out more if you have some to suggest. You can probably tell I have not drank my whole cup of coffee yet because I'm stuttering and tripping over my words. This mug I bought from a college student who does pottery. She sets up a booth at our local folk festival in the summer every August. She wasn't there this year though, and I was sad about that. So every year I've gone, I'll buy at least one of her mugs, and they're just so pretty. I just love them. My dog's outside my door whining. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of pottery. In fact, when Brad and I go away, when we go on vacations or if we go away for a weekend or whatever, we usually look for pottery, which when we were in Cuyahoga, it was weird. I couldn't find any handmade pottery. I was really surprised by that. We went to 2 or 3 different towns and I couldn't find any. And I even asked somebody at one of the shops, do you have any shops around here that sells handmade pottery? And they didn't know, or they didn't have any ideas, so that was weird. But anyway, that was a really good trip, by the way. If any of you are in the northeast and you're not far from Cuyahoga Falls, which is in Ohio, so it's right outside of Akron, Ohio. So it's on the northeast, it's in the northeast part of Ohio. So it's a little over 2-hour drive for us. They have the Cuyahoga National Park, and it was really pretty. And Cuyahoga Falls is the town, and it was cute. And then we went to... Oh, darn. So while I was there, one of my Instagram followers suggested we go to a town that was 10 minutes away, because it's the town she lives in. Okay, the town is called Hudson, Ohio. So it's a suburb of Akron, and it was such a cute town. It was one of those towns where I thought I would live in this town. I am not a town person. I've lived out in a rural area my entire life. I'm not used to having I have neighbors, but I'm not used to having, it's not like our houses are side by side. Like we all have yards and property and stuff. But this town was so stinking cute. In fact, that whole area of Ohio, we were surprised by. Like it was, it must be a wealthy area. It was very pretty. It was pretty. Then it was, the nature of it was pretty. Like there was lots of forest, but then everything seemed to be so well kept. Like the homes and stuff just seemed to be really well kept. So, but that little town was so cute, Hudson. The houses there, I could have literally, I mean, the day we were in Hudson, it was kind of nasty and it started raining and it got really windy and a storm came through. But if not for that, I would have been perfectly content with just strolling through the town, looking at all the houses, because I love to do that. When we go places, I'd love to just look at the houses and be inspired for ideas, you know, for at our home. But so that was a fun trip. So I recommend that area for anybody that wants to do like a, well, we went to hike, you know, but there's other things to do besides hike. So, okay, I think I'm just going to wrap it up for now because it is 9 o'clock. So I've been going here for about an hour and I need to carry on with my day. But thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy your upcoming Thanksgiving holiday if you're in the US, because I probably won't podcast before then. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so I'm excited. I have not decorated my house for Christmas yet. I am not judging any of you that are. My sister has had her tree up since the end of October. They're big Christmas people back there. I say back there because she lives back the lane. We live on a lane. We're at the front of the lane. She's in the back of the lane. Anyway, I do not decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is my favorite. Yeah. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the US. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.